Hey everyone, this is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. Today we're going to take a look at Sun square to Neptune. Again, yesterday we took a look at it from the standpoint of some of the shadows of solar dynamics and the kind of karmic entanglements that we need to watch out for, especially given that the Sun right now is the ruler of the Mars retrograde, Sun squaring Neptune. From that standpoint, we gave some kind of warnings and instructions for kind of what traps to avoid karmically. And I think that was a fun episode. Today, we're going to look at it from a slightly different point of view. We're going to look at some of the major themes that come up around Sun-Neptune dynamics, which are also things to watch for right now that you may notice manifesting in your life. I like to do this sometimes, reflect in a deep philosophical or spiritual way on a transit, and then stand back and reflect in a more mundane way, like here's what to watch for. So we'll do that today. Before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe, share your comments and reflections. Love to hear from you guys. Click the notification bell for updates if you want to know when we're doing a live stream. Got another one coming up this Friday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hope to see some of you all there. You can find transcripts of any of these daily talks on the website, which is nightlightastrology.com. I'm going to take you over there right now to show you two events that we have coming up this week. Thursday night, I'm doing my webinar on the 6th house. You can sign up to register under the events page. Go to live talks. You'll see a register button under the 6th house webinar there. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Thursday night. We're going to look at the 6th house, why it was a difficult house, and how to get the most out of it. This is good for you if you have a loaded 6th house or you're a practitioner or student. I think you're going to enjoy this talk. Get the recording if you can't attend the live webinar too. So don't worry about that if you can't make it live. Also, go to the events page, click on in-person events. This Saturday, we're having a winter solstice gathering here in Minneapolis at the Grapevine Collective at the new City Center in Minneapolis, 6 to 8:30 p.m. It's free to attend. Just RSVP so we know you're coming. We appreciate that. Hope to see you guys there. That'll be a fun night. Do a little movement, a little meditation, ritualizing the solstice. And then, of course, right now I am in promotion for the annual Kickstarter campaign. Our goal is to get to 1,937 backers by January 1st. We have still about 1,400 backers needed to get there by January 1st. And we have, as of the time that I'm making this intro, we have just under 2 weeks left to get there. We need a big push here at the end to reach our goal. We're doing well so far. Thank you to everybody who has already pitched in and donated to support the channel and all the free content in 2025. Much appreciated. And of course, there's lots of great rewards that are available. I'll tell you about all of the rewards you can get, including major discounts on all of our online courses and programs, our year 1, 2, 3, and horary programs, 4 years worth of programming that can give you our kind of master's certificate, so to speak, in counseling astrology. Of course, those sales only happen this time of year. There's also a lot of other great stuff that you can pick up as a reward, but any donation helps. $5 helps, $10 helps. So I'll tell you more about those rewards at the end. I'm going to take you over to the Kickstarter campaign. You can find the link in the description of this video, in the comment section of this video, or on the website, nightlightastrology.com. And when you go over to the Kickstarter page, you'll see on the right, you can make a pledge without a reward if you want to donate just like $5 or $10. We really appreciate that. Also, you can scroll down and then see all the rewards we offer in the tiers, the Astrology of 25 video, my book being released in audiobook form and text as prior to being in print. You can get year-ahead horoscopes readings. That's, about 8 hours worth of content, about 30 to 45 minutes of a year-ahead horoscope for all 12 signs. You get all of them when you donate at the $100 level. That's a great deal. And then all of our courses are listed there as well. I like to say something every day about what I think makes the Kickstarter valuable. And also, you can, if I check this box, then I may consider donating. So another thing is that a core value of Nightlight for a long time has been affordable, approachable, accessible astrological education and astrological services. Because of you guys, we have built an affordable reading service. For example, if you go to the readings tab of our website, you will find 3 different tiers of pricing with students who are promising young astrologers not young, but they're new in their careers, getting their start with reading for clients. We have a tier of our tutoring staff, and we have our course directors. So Nightlight is about building the success of other astrologers and building the success of students studying astrology and making sure that doesn't just mean that people who have a certain amount of money can take our programs. They're really good programs that we have. I believe that very deeply. We want to make sure that they're accessible for people. So when you support the channel and all of this free content, you're also supporting the ability that anyone has from any walk of life to find an accessible price point. If that's something you value, if you value being a part of a community of astrology that is about affordable, accessible, and free content, then please consider donating and supporting it, because it's because of your support that we can do things like that. To me, this has been the most interesting way of having a business model that also makes sure that the bottom line is about openness and accessibility. So if you value that, please consider donating and supporting our channel. We need a lot of help before we get there to the new year. So pitch in if you haven't yet. We really appreciate it. And on that note, let us dive into our content for the day. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to continue looking at the Sun square to Neptune today. I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the chart. I've got 5 things that you can watch for as this aspect is perfecting today. Of course, we are talking about Wednesday, December 18th. So let me get this up on the, where's my Epic pen? Here's my Epic pen. All right, let's pull this over here. I don't know where it was. It hides. All right, so you can see the Sun at 27 Sagittarius, squaring Neptune at 27 Pisces. They're both in Jupiter-ruled signs, and this makes for a very kind of fiery, charismatic, emotional combination of the Sun and Neptune. I'll say a little bit more about that as we go, but this list that I've come up with is focused on the combination of the Sun and Neptune, which would be consistent for any Sun-Neptune forecast, but also with the Jupiter-specific signs in mind, Pisces and Sagittarius, excuse me. So this aspect will, it was starting to perfect yesterday within a degree. We took a look at this yesterday from the standpoint of some of the shadows and potential karmic entanglements that can come up, especially as the Sun is also the ruler of Mars retrograde right now. And so we sort of looked at the potential for, grandiosity, entanglements of the ego, and the ways to, stay aware of those things and to work around them, hopefully. Today, we're going to look at it from a slightly different standpoint, 5 things to watch for that you may notice or observe as manifestations of the symbolism in your life. Most of these are more constructive because we really did look at some of the shadows yesterday, but there's maybe a few little notes here of how this can show up to also, be careful of. But anyhow, let's get into it. So the first one that I have on my list is inspiration. When the Sun and Neptune are squaring one another in any sign, one of the things that happens is there is a sense of romantic idealization that can permeate our consciousness, and we suddenly are seized by images of things that are very beautiful. There's a word that goes along with this is like the word sublime, something big and beautiful and vast, like looking out. You're sitting at the top of a cliff or a mountain landscape and just looking out over the entire vast scenery and just saying, wow, this is sublime. This is so big, so beautiful. So there's a sense of things reaching some kind of, full and very beautiful, almost otherworldly, romantic state. And that's very common to feel inspired by under a Sun-Neptune transit. The sense of romantic, spiritual, otherworldly, imaginative inflation. And it doesn't have to be unreal. Inflation is maybe expansion is another word, right? So especially with these Jupiter-ruled signs, Sagittarius and Pisces, we think about the Sun-Neptune combining with a sense of otherworldly, hopeful, buoyant, upbeat. There's a sense of things being true and grand and beautiful and fulfilling. When the Sun-Neptune come together, there's often a sense that the universe is conspiring somehow to remind you that you're in a good place, you're in a sacred place, you are in a holy place. And that has the sense of inspiring. Now, let's look at the etymology of the word inspire. Here it is. Sorry, I had to pull it up on my screen here. From inspiren, to fill the mind, the heart with grace, to prompt or induce something. From Latin, inspirare, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but means to blow into or to breathe upon, to inspire, to excite, to inflame, and also with some links to the idea of the breath. Now, that makes sense too. You can feel that inspiration has a connection to a breath of life that comes through us somehow. The breath of life, the spirit of life, the indwelling spirit that inspires. These are images that are totally appropriate for not only the use of the word inspire, but for the connection to the Sun-Neptune transit. That sense that life is dull and monotonous, routine, filled with predictable people and situations and realities like suffering, like impermanence, like change, like the worst or most base qualities among us rearing their ugly heads over and over again, in our day-to-day lives or in our workplaces or in our relationships, and feeling like, oh God, here we are dealing with this again. And then we get a transit. Often the transits are Jupiterian. These are Jupiter ruled signs, or they're Neptunian, or they're solar. And there's something about these transits that at their best can remind us, no, there's a bigger purpose. There is beauty, there is hope, there is faith, there is redemption, there is healing. There's a reason for being here. There's meaning, there is purpose. All of those give us the feeling like the flame of life is coming alive within us again and connecting us to some larger redemptive sense of reality. That is very Sun-Neptune, and it can be very minute. Don't underestimate this transit's ability to show up in the cracks and crags of your life, in some little moments that happen. I have noticed, for example, that Hilda, she's asleep in her bed right over there. But Hilda is someone who changed something about my heart. She's a rescue, and I can't explain it. But there was a Neptune transit in my life, and connecting through the sixth house, some other things, place of animals. Anyway, the point is that even your relationship with something like a dog or a cat, going through a little period of time where, animals have a way of even reminding us that life is sacred and beautiful. And Hilda's definitely done that for me, right? I use that as a small example because sometimes we think that it has to do with finding our purpose in the biggest, grandest sense, or, that inspiration is only available to us through these sort of huge, epic storylines that are very public, or that, make us into something famous. And in the ancient sense, the connection to something like inspiration, the sun, would be as simple as, have you ever just walked out in the morning, taken a walk first thing in the morning, and maybe there was something lingering, some bad feeling, some heaviness, and you go outside and you take a deep breath, catch a glimpse of the sun coming up, and there's that intangible, like, it's all good. It is well with my soul. You know that feeling? That's a Sun-Neptune feeling. And it could come through anything. It could come through your child. It could come through some small moment of mercy, grace, compassion, empathy, peace, acceptance. It can come through connection to something. And it just has the effect of feeling like a water that's cleansing, just like a spring shower. So watch for that light, healing, purifying, cleansing, watery, a watery light, like a baptism. It's a great Sun-Neptune image, is like baptism. Take the best of that idea, of that concept, of that ritual, and think to yourself, how does the cosmos baptize me today? How does it cleanse me with the water that's not just water, but is also the presence of some kind of healing spirit? So watch for that. It's a beautiful part of a Sun-Neptune transit that's often available for us. Number two, even if it's brief, number two is faith and hope. There is a general way in which we walk through life knowing that there's like a tentative way that we walk through life. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm anxious about what's going to happen. I hope it happens like this, but I don't know. I'm really worried it'll go like that. At least half of the astrology clients I've seen in my practice come in with an anxiety about an outcome, about some area of their life. It is very normal to walk through life with uncertainty. And there's a certain extent to which I think doubt and uncertainty and that tentative, reverent, careful way of walking without false confidence, pride, arrogance is very important. On the other hand, isn't it true that you know what it's like when you have a day where you're just singing, you're singing your way through the day? That's not false confidence. That's not pride. That's not ego. It's not some kind of false certainty about how things will go. That's faith and hope just carrying us. And the song that you sing on a day like that, usually it's one that gets stuck in your head. It's like a song that hopefully it's not one that drives you crazy. It's one that gets stuck in your head that you love, that's kind of uplifting, and your shoulders and your hips are just moving, throughout the day. They're carrying you. That faith and hope is very Sun-Neptune. And there's no need for there's no reason that it needs to be there. That's the most beautiful thing about grace and love, is that there is no need for there's no explanation, there's no justification. It shows up of its own sweet timing. And the most beautiful thing we can say about it is, I didn't do anything to deserve this. Nobody needs to do anything to deserve this. It's just sweetness coming through like the sun coming out from behind the clouds. It's that simple. There's a feeling of let myself just be in it, and it carries us. So that faith and hope is not a sense of certainty about an idea. Faith and hope. Faith and hope are more like a song that carries us along. So watch for that song to come through right now. It's a beautiful part of a Sun-Neptune transit, especially when they're both in Jupiter-ruled signs, which grants us that sense of the universe conspiring for the good, for order, for meaning, for balance, for justice, for truth, for beauty. Zeus, at its best, has that idea of unity and coherence behind it. Zeus, Jupiter being the ruler of both of these signs, obviously. Confusion and clarity. The other thing that can happen with the Sun-Neptune is it can be a little bit, because they're square to one another, there can be a sense of having lost our way. Like you're at sea and the clouds are covering the stars and you can't navigate. However, these interludes in our life where there is some feeling of being lost or confused and unclear, that we're missing the sun somehow, are usually, it's like Gandalf says, all those who wander are not lost. So there's wandering that happens with the Sun-Neptune. But if we can just allow for those kinds of interludes to exist, just say, oh, I'm in a space of wandering or confusion or lack of clarity. It's cloudy. There's a cloudiness in the psychic field that I'm in. Okay, I'll trust that the clouds will break and the stars will reappear, and then they often do. It's very typical for a Sun-Neptune transit to result in confusion alternating with clarity, and also for confusion to give way to clarity. It's like all of a sudden I'm feeling clear where I realize for a while I've been feeling cloudy, and all of a sudden that clarity appears and you go, oh my God, there's the sun again. There's the stars again. I can navigate my ship. So watch for that juxtaposition. Number 4, projection, deception, illusion. The potential for the sun is associated for ancient astrologers with the higher intelligence of the mind. There's the rational, discriminating intelligence. It's like street smarts. And then there's some sense of higher intelligence by means of which we perceive or apprehend things of a higher nature, like archetypes and metaphysics, philosophy. There's sort of a higher, more abstract form of knowledge that we think about. When we think about the allegory of the cave from Plato's Republic, the philosopher makes their way out of the cave and into the prisoner, I should say, makes his way out of the cave and into the light of the real world, where the light of the real sun is shining and illuminating the true forms. That kind of higher intelligence that is associated with things like enlightenment. By the way, the sun and enlightenment and this process of coming to understand higher truth was all associated with the 9th house, where the sun rejoiced. So, of course, along the way, when the sun comes in contact with Neptune, the shadow, if clarity and higher truth and illuminating understanding of higher or otherworldly realities is a Sun-Neptune thing, then so too is the potential for projection, deception, illusion, intoxication, much of which we talked about yesterday with the traps of the ego that come up with the Sun square Neptune. And remember, Sun is hosting Mars retrograde right now. Finally, overwhelm. Overwhelm is a very any kind of Neptune experience can be overwhelming. By overwhelming, it means that we lack the power to cope with or control or deal with a flood of events, emotions, changing circumstances, feelings, and it just becomes like a flood. Like the literal waters are often going to be associated with Neptune transits, but the sense is usually that of flooding or overwhelming or spreading or streaming. And so the potential for something to spread or flood or overwhelm or become very kind of all pervading is there with the Sun-Neptune. So we have to be careful that when overwhelming situations arise, that we are patient with them. There's a hexagram in the I Ching, I think it's 59. It's called dispersion. and it talks about the tendency for things to disperse. And the hexagram is also about how to keep things holding together when there is a tendency for dispersal. When we get overwhelmed, it's easy for us to disperse. For example, when we get overwhelmed is often when we'll begin a pattern of emotional eating, not sleeping right, not hydrating well, dropping our exercise, not going for a walk, not communicating, dropping healthy habits because we're overwhelmed. And then it's understandable. We reach for things that we think, oh, this will fix it. I'm just feeling very overwhelmed. I need something right now to help me feel stable. One of the most important things we can do in spaces of overwhelm is to tell ourselves that it's okay that I'm feeling overwhelmed, to slow down and to very gently turn to things that are of actual nourishment and self-care that is actually healing, and not the self-care that's going to be sort of punitive and strict and rigid. We have to reach for things that will gently nourish but keep us from dispersal. So that's something to consider too, is dispersion of energy as opposed to holding a gentle center when things get overwhelming. That's a very Sun-Neptune-like dynamic, something I see at play in the lives of people who have Neptune transiting their natal sun frequently. Periods of overwhelm. How do I get through it? And the potential for people to fall into things like drinking, or any kind of dependency that's there to help us deal with overwhelm. Very understandable that we would need things when we're overwhelmed, especially when there's trauma. But this is a transit that is much better when it comes to reaching for gentle, compassionate, easy, sensitive ways of dealing with overwhelm, as opposed to quick fixes, intoxication that comes as a kind of shadow medication of the overwhelm. You know what I mean? So be careful of that. Otherwise, the overwhelm can also be about flood of epiphanies, bliss, insight, imagination, romance. It could be like a fugue state creatively that comes through, and watch for that kind of creative overwhelm to be just really lovely. So we'll leave it there. 5 things to watch for, 5 simple things to watch for on this day of Sun squaring Neptune. I hope that this was useful for you. You'll get something good out of it. Stick around. After I sign off, you'll learn more about the rewards that are available when you support the channel. Of course, we have a webinar coming up this week on Thursday night I talked about. Be sure to check that out. We have a long way to go to get to our backer total. So anything and everything you can do is super helpful. All donations of any amount help. And of course, you can learn more about the rewards next that we offer, which are pretty cool too. All right, take it easy. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around. I'm going to tell you about the different rewards that we offer when you donate and support our channel in the year ahead. So you'll find a link to the Kickstarter in the description of this video, in the comments section of this video, as well as on our website, nightlightastrology.com. If you head over there, you'll see at the top of the page there is a menu item that says Kickstarter 2025. You can click on that and be taken over to the Kickstarter campaign page. So once you're there, if you scroll down on the right-hand side, you're going to see different pledge levels and different gifts and sales that we run as a way of saying thank you for your support. So among those, our most popular offering by far are the major discounts that we offer on our training programs. So if you are interested in studying astrology at Nightlight in 2025, whether you're a brand new student or a currently enrolled student who's thinking of taking one of our year 2, 3 horary programs, you're going to find that these are the best rates that we run on the entire year. And we do this as a way of both saying thank you and also of helping us raise funds to support the channel, our staff, and everything we do. So you'll see attend one Nightlight course there. That's about 50% off the total cost of the program and about $500 off the early bird rate. And then you'll scroll down and you'll see that if you bundle 2 courses together, the savings go way up. Bundle 3, they go up even more. I mean, the difference between the 2 and 3 class package is $200. So $200 more, you get 3 of our year-long programs. And if you get all the way to the 4 class pass, then you have all 4 years of our program. You can take them at any pace you like, renew them whenever you like. There's no timeline on when you use these class passes. And you will have all 4 years of content at about 75% off each of the programs individually when you get that bundle. So those are our best savings for sure. Highly recommend those. If you have any questions about our courses or programs, email us info@nightlightastrology.com or look at the website under the courses page. You'll find information about each of the individual courses we offer. And then if you scroll up, you're going to find some of our other programs that are greatly discounted. Ashley's Herbal Foundations apprenticeship course, which many people are interested in who come through our Moon Circle that Ashley and I lead each month. You scroll up, you're going to find our masterclass series for 2025, greatly discounted, as well as our Roots and Spheres Moon Circle, greatly discounted. There's hundreds of dollars of savings in each of those. So we really try to make sure that the Kickstarter acts as a good flash sale for all of our programs. You'll then find some really nice prices on previous archive talks, like our 2024 archive masterclass bundle, which is about 30 hours worth of content on specialized topics in astrology. You can see the topics listed in each of the bundles as you scroll through. 2023's masterclass bundle, huge savings on those and a lot of really great content. You'll see a few reading options as you continue to go from the bottom to the top. You'll see the 2025 year ahead mini reading. There's only 30 of these. These are individualized birth chart readings that I do looking at the most significant transit in your birth chart for 2025. I record those personally. You'll then see that there is an Ask 3 Horary Questions option where you can get 3 horary questions to redeem whenever you'd like within the year ahead. Those are kind of yes, no predictive questions. Will I get the job? Will we get together? Things like that. Then you'll see the Astrology for Complete Beginners course is also discounted through the Kickstarter. This is a great 10 hours worth of content for people who are brand new to astrology. So whether that's you or maybe a gift for somebody else. And then you're going to see some individual master classes that are greatly discounted from the past year. So all of 2024's masterclass series are the archives of which 8 to 10 hours each are on sale. And then scroll up a little bit more and you'll see one of our most popular offerings, which are the year ahead horoscope readings. These year ahead horoscope readings include 30 to 45 minutes of a breakdown of all the major transits of the year ahead for each sun and rising signs. You get all of them with this package, which is a great deal. It's like 10 hours worth of content, 8, 9, 10 hours, somewhere in there. I haven't finished recording all of them yet. So as of the time I'm recording this, I'm anticipating it'll land around 10 hours. But yeah, anyway, so you scroll up, you'll see those horoscope videos will all be delivered to you right around January 1st when the Kickstarter ends. Scroll up a little bit more, you'll find The Oracle Speaks, which is my book, and this is being released chapter by chapter. It is a book about the inner experience of learning to speak with oracles, and it is being released chapter by chapter in both text and audiobook form, so you can listen along to my new book. And that takes us up to the Astrology of 2025 video. This, for your donation at the $50 level, gives you an exclusive talk breaking down all of the major astrological transits of 2025. I look in depth at some of the biggest things happening in the year ahead and break them down in advance. And that's the only place I release that video or that take on the whole year ahead. Finally, at the very top, the most basic level of donation, you'll see the Astrology of 2025 calendar. This is a PDF calendar we design and make that allows you to track and move along with the astrology as the year unfolds. This is also great if you want to track what we're going to be talking about week by week on my channel. You'll get a glimpse at the biggest transits of each day and month and week. And that will give you some sense of where we're heading with our coverage of the astrology on the channel as the year unfolds. So again, any questions about any of the rewards that you see, email us info@nightlightastrology. Link is in the description, comments, or on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Help us get to 1,937 backers by January 1st. We deeply appreciate your contribution. We try to make sure we have some really special rewards to say thank you when you contribute. All right, take it easy. Bye.